Thanks for joining us from the Ohio AgNet Voice You Know with the News You Trust studio, sponsored by the Family Forest Carbon Program, where we help family forest owners get paid to improve the health of their woods. Powered by Soy Biodiesel. Later today, I'll be at the Pickaway County Fair, all thanks to Leist Mercantile, experience you can trust. Also, the 25th Annual Crawford Antique Farm Machinery Show is June 19th through the 21st at the Crawford County Fairgrounds in Bucyrus. Visit Crawford Antique Farm Machinery Association on Facebook to learn more and stay ahead in soybean farming with the latest research and insights. Follow Ohio Field Leader Program at ocj.com. Brought to you by Ohio Soybean Council and the Soybean Checkoff. Well, Secretary of Transportation Sean Duffy recently announced 20 deregulatory actions taken at the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration, 16 deregulatory actions taken at the Federal Highway Administration, and 16 deregulatory actions taken at the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. In total, the deregulatory package will rescind, withdraw, or amend burdensome regulations that do not enhance safety. These actions also will help streamline the code of federal regulations by deleting over 73,000 words from the Federal Register, said FMSCA. Big government has been a big failure under President Trump's leadership. My department is slashing duplicative and outdated regulations that are unnecessarily burdensome, waste taxpayer dollars, and fail to ensure safety, said Duffy. These are common sense changes that will help us build more efficient government that better reflects the needs of American people. FMCSA added these sensible deregulatory actions primarily target redundant and decade-old rules that have no real-life application. This includes cutting duplicative provisions at FHWA for constructive contracts and axing an outdated rule under which requires paperwork of an electronic logging device operator's manual even when it can be found online. Of the 52 deregulatory actions, 43 are at the notice proposed rulemaking stage, 7 are final rules, and 2 are withdrawals of rulemaking actions. All 52 deregulatory actions will increase efficiencies without compromising safety for the American people. Today's weather brought to you by Seed Consultants. Simply better performance online at seedconsultants.com. Here's the forecast.
Showers and thunderstorms trying to work their way into the region. I'm Chief Meteorologist Ryan Martin. Let's take a look at that forecast update. And we're looking for a frontal boundary to eventually make it into Ohio later this afternoon and evening. Before it gets here, I won't rule out a few pop-up, hit-and-miss scattered showers across the state as clouds increase this afternoon. But I really think this is more of a sunset through the overnight thing for Ohio. And I think while we are in, especially parts of west and northwest Ohio, in an enhanced risk zone for severe weather, I really think the best threat of severe weather is north into Michigan and far south and southwest into Kentucky. And by the time the front actually passes here, we are in a much more stable air mass because it's overnight, and we should not see a wide-ranging batch of severe weather. But again, keep your eyes peeled. I do think moisture lingers through most of tomorrow afternoon, so combined moisture tonight and tomorrow, I'm going to say anywhere from a tenth to 1 inch coverage, 90% of Ohio. Drying down and heating up for the end of the week and weekend. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, mostly sunny, hot and dry. We move into next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, same thing. Partly to mostly sunny, very warm and dry. Few afternoon, or I should say overnight thunderstorms Wednesday night into early Thursday. And then the rest of next week is mostly dry till a frontal boundary sags through closer to the 29th into the 30th. That's the way your forecast is stacking up. I'm Chief Meteorologist Ryan Martin.
And thanks, Ryan. Joining me is Adam Heffron, the Executive Director of the Ohio Expo Center. You might know it as the home of the Ohio State Fair. Deadline for livestock entries. It's a big place for those that have been here as youth, those who have come back as open exhibitors, and we'll see a lot more of everything, right?
Absolutely. Pygmy goats is new this year, so that'll be really fun to see the quantity of entries. You know, entry time of year, which is now, you just mentioned, Dale, is sort of like extra innings. Like a lot of people kind of wait until the last minute to make sure their animal will be prepared for the fair. So we get this just barrage of probably 80% of our entries come in really within the last 2 days of the entry period. So we're expecting big numbers again this year like we had last year and across the board. So I think it's going to be a great competition this year, as it always is in the past.
It's always kind of been around the June 20th, but to be sure, what's the website that people can get the actual date for this year for whatever they might be interested in bringing?
OhioStateFair.com.
Again, that's OhioStateFair.com. And we often have too many things to think about on that, but that's the way to get to whether you're showing open class sheep, cattle, hogs, you want to know anything about tickets and all that, that's still the place to go, right?
That is it. Go on in there and you'll see through the top listings, ag exhibitor, livestock exhibitor, just click on that, and then through that you can enter your animal or whatever it is you want to enter at the fair.
And if you're making plans for the Ag Hall of Fame breakfast, it's always on the last Friday. So in this case, you'll check it out there. It may even be the last of July or the very 1st of August. But check it out if you're coming for that. Bring the family. And any idea what it's going to cost to get in this year?
It's $12 admission for adults, $10 for seniors and youth.
Come hungry is my suggestion.
Oh, absolutely. And you asked me, Dale, what's my favorite food? And you sort of mentioned your favorite food, and is that ice cream?
It's hard to turn down ice cream. People say, what do you eat at county fairs? And I normally tell them I don't eat at county fairs because it makes me too sleepy to drive home. But I pace myself much better here at the Ohio State Fair. And we're in here for a lot of hours, so we could try out lots of things. And I don't turn down any of the commodity food. Ice cream is always a favorite one. And, of course, you know, there's always those fun things that these guys get real creative. And what can you deep fry other than a stick that's not good?
Anything deep fried is good. We're going to deep fry tacos this year, so I'm excited about that, to try the new deep fried tacos. You mentioned something very important that I did not, which is the dairy products building. So that is under construction this year. However, the dairy cow and everything that comes along with it will be on display again, so no missing the beat there. But that building is being renovated. That won't be fully in effect and completed until the 26th fair. But this year, there's still going to be a dairy cow. There's still going to be ice cream served. Unfortunately, no milkshakes, but we'll have cheese sandwiches, so you'll be able to go inside the building and see the progress of construction and have one of your favorite things in mind as well, ice cream.
And I checked with the dairy folks again this year, and the cat is still in the bag. They will not tell me what the butter sculpture will be other than the cow and calf and guests. So that part is still consistent here at State Fair as well. Thanks for being here. Thanks for all of the guidance that you've helped this project. Thanks for staying on time and welcoming everybody to this year's State Fair.
Thanks again, Dale. It's always great to have you here, and we'll see you at the fair.
Stay tuned. Back with more after this.
Soybeans are making waves in aquaculture. As a top protein source for fish farming, soy meal is essential for producing sustainable farm-raised fish. With fish farming as the fastest growing food sector, soybeans meet the demand for eco-friendly, nutritious options. From soybean fields to fish farms, soybeans power the farms that feed families. Brought to you by the Ohio soybean farmers and their checkoff.
Get the equipment and trucks you need at the Ritchie Brothers' next Great Lakes Regional event on June 26th and 27th. This absolute unreserved auction will feature online bidding, and items are located in Columbus, Chicago, and Detroit. Choose from over 2,000 items, including a wide selection of construction equipment, truck, tractors, and more. Don't miss Ritchie Brothers' Great Lakes Regional event on June 26th and 27th. For more details, visit rbauction.com. Again, that's rbauction.com.
Nearly 200 agricultural groups and organizations are seeking direct involvement in any policy recommendations coming from the Make America Healthy Again Commission report and in any upcoming commission activities. A group of 197 agriculture interest groups is asking the Make America Healthy Again Commission to allow their input in the MAHA policy process. The groups made the request in a letter to Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy, U.S. Environmental Protection Agency Administrator Lee Zeldin, and U.S. Secretary of Agriculture Brooke Rollins, pointing to what the groups say were inaccuracies and misrepresentations of agriculture in the report. The process by which the Commission's most recent report was created lacked transparency and any opportunity for public engagement, said the groups that represent farmers, ranchers, food producers, and ingredient manufacturers. As a result, the report contained numerous errors and distortions that have created unfounded fears about the safety of our food supply. While we appreciate recent outreach to some stakeholders in the food and agriculture sector to genuinely provide the transparency and gold standard science pledged in the report, we urge the administration to formally include farmers, ranchers, and food producers in a collaborative stakeholder process throughout all future work of the Commission. We also advise the administration to create the opportunity for public comment on all future reports and activities of the Commission. The report aims at ag chemicals, including glyphosate, the main ingredient in Bayer's Roundup, citing studies that point to human health concerns and cite studies that are either inaccurate or simply don't exist. The group said in the letter, agriculture has been at the forefront of improvement of health outcomes through innovation on the farm. Today's market analysis is brought to you by the Louis Dreyfus Company. Excited to be building the newest state-of-the-art soybean crush facility in Upper Sandusky, Ohio. For marketing information of your beans to LDC, call 574-566-2113. Here's Ryan Martin.
Grain markets finished the Tuesday session mostly higher. Corn and wheat futures started the day stronger on modest short covering following the loss on Monday. However, July corn and July soy oil futures were then moving lower as we moved into the mid and late morning. Everything changed then as we hit midday and afternoon. It was an interesting day. I think one of the bigger things on corn was the fact that the crop condition scores came in fairly close to expectations, up 1 point in the good to excellent category this week, but soybeans were down 2%, 2 percentage points in the good to excellent category. That was a surprise, and that's what lit the fire under soybeans early on. There are plenty of unknowns surrounding the July 9th date. That is when reciprocal tariffs, the 90-day pause on those, is over, and those should go back on. Does President Trump raise the tariffs to the April 2nd level? That is hanging over the world financial markets. It was an issue for the market yesterday, and also with the deepening Middle East war between Israel and Iran, future world economic growth is likely going to decline. Overall, we finished strong, but we started the overnight session mixed, and we could see a lower move in commodities here before the week is done. There are some that are thinking corn can rally, but 440 seems to hold it on December corn as of late. USDA did report a daily sale of 120,000 metric tons of soy meal to unknown destinations. Everybody thinks it's the Philippines, though, due to their liking of flaked soybean meal. Brokers estimate that funds bought 2,300 contracts of wheat, 5,400 contracts of corn, 900 contracts of soybeans. Crude oil futures rallied big time yesterday, tied to Israel's deepening war with Iran, looking to probably hit Iranian oil infrastructure. That's a big one for the world. I'm Ryan Martin.
And thanks, Ryan. Today's market's brought to you by Seed Consultants. Simply better performance online at seedconsultants.com. Overnight at the open, July corn up 1 at 432.5. December up 2 at 440 3/4. If you jump to March, you're up 2 at 455 3/4. July beans down a penny and 1/4, trading 10.72 3/4. November unchanged at 10.67 3/4. January also flashing in now unchanged at $10.80 3/4. The July wheat is up 4 at 553. September up 4, 569.5. Carried all the way to December, you're up 3 3/4 at 590 3/4. In livestock, June cattle down 377, closing at 223.25. The August down $4.90 to $210.65. October down $4.35 at $208.55. July lean hogs down 15 cents at 111.65. August down 87 at 111.80. In October, down $1 at $95.17. September feeder cattle seems to always be a roller coaster in feeder cattle. Down $6.67 yesterday at 302.90. October down $6.37 at $301 even. In November, down $6.05 at $298.57. This is the Ohio AgNet.